ImAllexx. Remember that guy?
Even though she assaulted me.
I think June of last year, that guy got cancelled. And if I want to refresh your memory, let me show you exactly what he did. The YouTuber ImAllexx responded to allegations from June of 2024 regarding a toxic relationship with his ex-girlfriend Alice Hess, where he was accused of emotional and physical abuse. In the end, he didn't say anything about it. He was radio silent. He fell off the face of the planet. That was June of last year. Nothing. I even made a video saying that ImAllexx isn't sorry. If he was, he would come up with a statement. He would say something about it. He would put out a tweet. He did nothing. I don't know how long it's been, but now he is back and he posted a video. And what do you think he said in this video? I haven't watched it yet, but from the little that I saw in clips, he basically says she was way more abusive than me. So
Alice would use physical violence when I refused to do as she had asked, and this is something she admitted to in a conversation on Facebook Messenger.
I watched the 2-hour video during a stream, and if I were to summarize it, I would say this. Both of these people are terrible individuals who spoke to each other in a horrible way, used horrible language, and it seemed like they were both physical and verbally abusive to each other. This is the video here. It's called My Response by ImAllexx. He posted it 5 hours ago.
The video is my response to allegations made by my ex-girlfriend Alice Hess, who I was in a relationship with for the majority of 2023.
In the video, Alex apologizes and claims Alice manipulated facts to benefit herself.
Antagonized and laid hands on me. Alice would then take my reaction and claim that I'd started the fight or the argument, like she has done in her document and on these text messages, even though she assaulted me.
And Alice responded saying she isn't manipulative and that she has more evidence.
Alice hit me, kicked me, emotionally, verbally, and physically abused me, as well as threatened me and blackmailed me constantly throughout our relationship. Alice has continued to harass me by posting false information about me, as well as fabricating stories about our relationship online to this day. All of this will be covered in detail in this video, and for full clarity, I will be reading from a document that I have written to make sure that this is treated with the seriousness that it deserves.
Already, he's saying that he was the one that was being abused, even though we saw a lot of information to the contrary.
I'm gonna fucking bash your fucking head against the wall with a brick if you don't shut the fuck up.
But hey,
since our relationship ended, Alice
in.
has lied continuously for the last 12 months that I was under a police investigation to friends, ex-girlfriends, and YouTube commentary channels. Alice has continued to make false allegations about me to this day and said that she had pressed charges against me in a comment on TikTok. This is a lie, as at no point have I been interviewed, arrested, or charged with a crime, but Alice continues to slander me publicly with these lies.
So Alex brings this up a lot, like 4, 5, or maybe more times, saying that Alice was on a crusade to defame him by saying he was a criminal, has a criminal record, but then he says that Alice never actually went to the police, so it's untrue. But according to this tweet Alice posted, which shows that she did in fact contact the police about Alex. The majority of the video, Alex wasn't apologizing for what he did. I think he spent a few seconds, 40 minutes into the video to say he was ashamed of his words.
This was unacceptable behavior, and I deeply regret using such horrific language, and this will be further addressed in this video.
But the majority of what Alex focused on was mainly to try and debunk certain claims or sharing the blame with Alice.
I decided to publicize a heavily edited version of events to damage my reputation with false stories and lies, like alleging I'm a convicted criminal with a criminal record.
Some key points. Alex argues that Alice's description of physical abuse was false.
Alice says we had a huge fight where I dragged her, covered her mouth, and put her in a headlock, and that this happened on the 19th of October, a few days after we had moved in with each other. There are no texts from this time that even suggest that we were fighting or had been in a fight, and that's because this did not happen.
Alex also claims that Alice was setting up a narrative against him, explaining the lack of initial evidence for her allegations. Alice accuses him of foul language, but he says that she cut out the text messages and they were both using foul language. He used the N-word and she's saying that, okay, so they both used the N-word. Got it.
Relationship.
He states that Alice began blackmailing and threatening him when he asked her to stay away.
Alice started to accuse me of being physically abusive with her after I had asked her multiple times to stop her constant physical attacks on me. Because these continued, I had asked to break up.
He also says that Alice accused him of physical abuse to prevent him from ending the relationship.
Alice has made tweets stating that I do not have any trauma from our relationship together and that she never hit me. These statements are untrue, And in fact, Alice admits to slapping me and pushing me in another in her own document. Alice had also been kicking me, which she admitted to me on Facebook Messenger after she had lied that I was on Claire's Law. And all of this will be covered separately throughout this video. Alice has done all of this despite claiming she was never physically abusive at any point in our relationship, which is a lie, as Alice was physically abusing me regularly, which she has hidden and now lied about publicly.
A lot of their arguments were personal domestic disputes that turned into physical confrontations, and for some reason, they turned this into a public battle.
Because we lived in a rented house, I didn't want to be evicted because of the constant arguments and screaming when I would sleep upstairs.
They both have terrible communication, and this is something that people in the comments noticed. And this one comment kind of hits the nail on the head. I think the takeaway from this nearly 2-hour video is that Alex and Alice communicate like adolescent cave people. I had to literally read some of these exchanges out loud to make them make sense. Yeah, me too. Maybe instead of exchanging 2-syllable messages, formulate a coherent thought and send that. It was like 3 conversations were happening simultaneously at times. It's clear she is lying, understandable, and abusive. But it sounds like you're both toxic and unwilling to let anything go. It sounds like there were mutual emotional and verbal abuse going on. Yes, I agree with all of that. I can't imagine the relationship devolved after moving in together. So the fact that you moved in together was a horrendous miscalculation on both your parts and couldn't have ended in a positive way. Get a restraining order against her, lawyer up, and take her to court for slander/defamation. She should do the same. Neither of you should be engaging in this BS, especially not publicly. Make a simple post saying this whole situation is being dealt with privately for those interested to respect your privacy and move on. And for F's sake, learn to text. This is probably a perfect summation of exactly what happened. So Alex, he claims that Alice would punch and kick and scream at him, forcing him to sleep on the sofa. Alex also said he developed a skin rash that worsened over time because of the stress.
I had a skin condition since 2021 that was brought on by stress. This skin condition would cause me to have full body itching episodes when I was touched, pushed, or hit, and it made it very hard for me to sleep.
He claims that Alice called him fat and wanted him to keep his shirt on due to the rash.
Also texted about this exact situation. I told Alice I didn't want to upset her as she was angry that I no longer would share a bed with her anymore because she had been kicking me and calling me fat because I had told her that I couldn't sleep with a shirt on because of my illness.
Alex also claims that Alice was insecure and he wasn't allowed to follow his ex-girlfriends on social media, and she would go through his phone on a regular basis.
Alice was still messaging me about the girls that I had followed on Instagram or friends that I had refollowed. Alice sent me this message saying that any girl that I speak to would be ugly anyway and proceeded to insult them after claiming that she hasn't tried to stalk me or tried to control me in her document. I refollow my friends when
Oh no, you didn't bring Emily Black into this. Emily Black is my friend. Unfollow Emily Black and every other nude slag right now. Emily Black is a wonderful individual. She's a sweetheart and a great person. All this video did was provide evidence that the abuse in the relationship wasn't just one-sided and they were both awfully toxic to one another.
Alice turned around in bed and kicked me in my lower back, and I told her to fuck off. And then she kicked me even harder and then started to donkey kick me in my neck and in the back of my head.
It took him 9 months to come out with this response. It's probably going to continue because Alice is still actively talking about the situation, and that's about it.
Before I end this video, I would like to apologize to anyone who I upset or offended in the videos and text messages that Alice shared. I wish no ill will on anyone who has posted about me or shared these stories online. I am ashamed that many others were dragged into this unintentionally because of my actions. To the many people who have reached out publicly and privately, I greatly appreciate the kindness and generosity many of you have shown at a time where I have not deserved it, and I hope that I can repay you by being a better person. Thank you for listening to what I had to say.
Why didn't he say any of this at the beginning of the video and not an hour and 42 minutes and 48 seconds into it?